Algebra 1, this is page 237, 238, and we're going to go through run through 17 odd, which was the assignment last night. So problem number 1, we have y equals x plus 5, and then we have negative 10x plus 35y equals 300. Okay, so the first one, we have a y-intercept at 0, comma, oh, should I do this graphing or not? No, I'm not going to do this as graphing. I don't know why I have my graph there, but let's do this as substitution. So I'm going to take this here. I'm going to plug it in for the y value down there, okay? That gives me negative 10x plus 35 times x plus 5 equals 300. Let's distribute 35 over the parentheses. 35 times x is 35x, and 35 times 5, I'm just using a calculator, is 175 equals 300. And then these are my like terms, so that's 25x. Subtract 175 from both sides. So 300 minus 175 is 125. So, oops. Divide each side by 25. So you find that your x value is 5, 125 divided by. Remember, that's an x and a y. So x equals 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 5, plug it in right up there. So 5 plus 5 is 10. So y equals 10. There's our answer. So we don't have to use a graph on that. Let's see, delete. Okay. Number 3, we have 7x minus 4y is equal to 0. And I have 9x minus 5y equals 1. This one I would use the elimination or the addition method. So we have to think which number to get rid of. I'm going to get rid of the y's, okay? But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to multiply the entire top by 5 and the entire bottom by negative 4. And I don't know if we'll have one of these on the test, but it's good to practice. So 5 times 7x, 35x, 5 times negative 4y is negative 20y. And then 5 times 0 is just 0. And then we're going to distribute here. So I'm going to get negative 36x plus 20y is equal to negative 4. Now I can add these together. So I'm going to get negative x, the y's cancel out, equals negative 4. So x is going to equal to positive 4. That's my first answer. And then I'm going to take this 4 and I'm going to plug it into x here or here. It doesn't really matter. I might plug it into the top one. So I'm going to get 7 times 4 minus 4y equals 0. That's 28 equals negative 4y. Oops, not equals. Minus 4y equals 0. Subtract 28. Divide both sides by negative 4. So negative 28. Negative over negative is positive. 28 over 4 is 7. And there's my answer. So we don't necessarily have to graph any of these. All right, let's take a look at number 5. Number 5, we have 4x minus 3y is equal to negative 10, and then I have x equals 1/4 y minus 1. So I already know that x equals this, so I'm going to plug that into there. So I'm going to get 4 parentheses there. That's where x used to live, but now I'm going to put 1/4 y minus 1 in there. Distribute over. 4 times 1/4 is just 1. So that's going to give me 1y, which is the same thing as y. Or 4 times negative 4 is negative 4. Minus 3y equals negative 10. Those are like numbers. Add 4 to both sides. So negative 10 plus 4 is negative 6. Divide each side by negative 2. So that's going to give me 3. So my y value is 3. I'm going to take this y value and I'm going to plug it in either here or here. I think I can plug it into the bottom one, which is fine. So x equals 1/4 times 3 minus 1. So 1/4 times 3 is 3/4. Just multiply like it's fraction. And then that's the same thing as 4 over 4, the same thing as 1. So that's going to give me negative 1/4 as my x value. Number 7, again, I can get rid of these. Number 7, I have 8x plus 3y equals 31. And then I have x equals negative 1/2 y plus 4. Okay, I know that x is equal to this, so I'm going to use substitution. I'll plug it in here. So I have 8. This is where x used to be. But now I'm going to plug negative 1/2 y plus 4 in. Let's distribute over the parentheses. So half of 8 is negative half of 8 is negative 4. And then 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 3y equals 31. Those are like terms, so I'm going to get negative y plus 32 equals 31. Subtract 32 from both sides, so I'm going to get negative 1. Multiply both sides by negative 1. So I'm going to get y equals 1. Okay, so I'm going to take this y value and I'm going to plug it in either here or here. I'll plug it into the bottom one. So I get negative 1/2. Oops, it's starting to goof up on me. So basically the answer, if I plug 1, I get negative 1/2 plus 4. So this answer down here, the x value is going to be 3.5. Okay, now I have to undo my, number 9. So y plus 2 is equal to x. And then I have 2x minus 3y equals 14. So y plus 2 is going to be the same thing as x. So I get 2. That was where x used to live, equals 3y equals 14. And then I'm going to plug y plus 2 in there. Distribute the 2 over, so I'm going to get 2y plus 4 minus 3y equals 14. Those are like terms, so I'm going to get negative 1y plus 4 equals 14. Subtract 4 from both sides, so I'm going to get 10. Multiply both sides by negative 1, so my y value is negative 10. Remember, that's x and y. Then I'm going to take this value here, this y value here, and plug it in here or here. I'd plug it into the top, so I'm going to get negative 10 plus 2 equals x. So x equals negative 8. Hope you guys are doing well today. Number 11, I'm going to get y minus 2x equals 5. And y equals 2x plus 4. Okay, so I can take what y equals, and I can plug it in there. So that's going to be 2x plus 4 minus 2x equals 5. The positive and 2x's, the positive and negative 2x cancel, so I get 4 equals 5. So that's a false situation. So we have no solution for our answer. No solution is 0 with that. All right, so now I need a graph, paste. All right, so number 13, we have y equals 4x plus 3, and I also get y plus x equals negative 2. So my y-intercept is going to be 0, 3, which is here. I have a slope of 4 over 1. So I'm going to go up 4, right 1, and make a straight line as best you can. We're not worried about solid or dotted because these aren't inequalities. This is going to be a cover method one. So 0, blank, blank, 0. So this is an x value, so y equals negative 2. So 0, negative 2 is here. And then I'm going to have this y value covered up, so I'm going to get x equals also negative 2. So negative 2, 0 is here. Straight line, and where do they seem to cross at? They cross here at negative 2, 0, so that's my solution. 15. Number 15, we have 2x plus y equals 8. And then we have 4x minus y equals 4. These are both going to be done with the 0 comma blank, blank comma 0. So that's an x value, so I get y equals 8. That's easy. And then there's a y value, so I'm going to get 2x equals 8 divided by both sides by 2, so I'm going to get 4. So 0 comma 8 is up here, and 4 comma 0 is here. And try and draw your best straight line. Then the next problem, I'm going to get 0 comma blank and blank comma 0. So I'm going to get negative y equals 4, so y equals negative 4. So 0, negative 4 is down here. And then I'm going to plug that y value in, so I'll get 4x equals 4. So x equals 1. And if I did this right, it looks like 2 up 3, so 2 comma 3 is our solution. Number 17, now we finally get back into the inequalities. Okay, so number 17, we have y is greater than x minus 7, and I get y is less than negative 2x plus 8. I have a y-intercept of 0, negative 7, so 0, negative 7 is down here, with a slope of 1. I'm going to go up 1, right 1. And remember, this is because it doesn't have an equal sign, it's going to have a dotted line. And then the next one, I get 0 comma 8 for a solution, which is up here. My slope is negative 2 over 1. Down 2, right 1. And this is also going to be dotted because I don't have a line underneath the inequality sign. Now I'm going to pick 0, 0. 0, 0. That's my test point. So 0 and 0 there. So is 0 greater than negative 7? And that's true. So for the blue, I'm going to shade the side that 0, 0 is on. And I'll pick a different color. This one, I'm going to plug 0, 0 in. So I get 0 here, 0 here. So 0 is less than 8. That's also true. So I'm going to shade the side that the 0, 0 is on with the green line. And where they overlap is our solution. So our solution is in here. Okay. Okay, so we have some word problems. What I'll do is I'll highlight as I read. Joe bought coffee and donuts for the office. On Monday, he spent $16.50 on 10 cups of coffee and 5 donuts. But the donuts were way more popular, so Tuesday he bought 5 cups of coffee and 10 donuts for $14.25. All right, so we have coffee and we have donuts. Okay, so that's what he's dealing with. So coffee and donuts is our two variables. That's the answer to letter A. And then we want to write a system of linear equations. So we know that coffee and donuts on one day, actually, let me erase that real quick, I'm sorry. It said on the first Monday he bought 10 coffee and 5 donuts, and he spent $16.50. And then on the next day he bought 5 cups of coffee and 10 donuts for $14.25. All right, so this is an elimination problem. I realize we don't use X and Y, we're using C and D for coffee and donuts. On the bottom equation, I'm going to multiply the whole bottom equation by -2 and distribute it. Extend that a little bit so we can see it. So the very top equation does not change. It stays to be this. Bottom equation is going to be -10C minus 20D equals -2850. You'd want to have a calculator out for this one. So the nice thing is, coffee cancels out. I get -15D, and I'm going to go 1650 minus 2850. So that gives me -12. We're going to divide both sides by 15, or -15. So 12 divided by 15 comes out to 0.80. Okay, so donuts were 80 cents each. So donuts cost 80 cents each. And then I want to figure out how much the coffee cost. So donuts are 80 each. So I'm going to take the 80 and I'm going to plug it in. Maybe let's plug it in right there. So I'm going to get 5C plus 10 times 0.8 equals 1425. So that gives me 5C, 10 times 0.8 is 8 equals 1425. Subtract 8 from both sides. Again, I'd use a calculator. That's going to come out to 625. Divide both sides by 5. So the coffee cost $1.25 for each cup of coffee. Then the last question said, hey, he wanted to buy 12 donuts and 4 coffees on the following Wednesday. So how much was it? Well, we know that the donuts was 80 cents. We know that the coffee is $1.25. And again, I'd use a calculator. So 12 times 0.8 is $9.60. And then 4 times $1.25 is $5. So if we add those together, it looks like he spent on the next day $14.60. Okay, this is on page 240 at the very top. It says that there's a store called Monkey Sports Superstore is having a sale on tennis equipment. Then it says the JV tennis coach purchases 10 rackets and 2 hopper baskets for $155. A hopper basket is what you put tennis balls in, and the racket is what you use to hit. The varsity coach purchases 12 rackets and 3 hopper baskets for $189. So as we start progressing through this, define the 2 variables. Well, we have rackets and we have hoppers. Okay, so the rackets and the hoppers, what holds the balls. So let's write a system of equations. So it says the JV coach bought 10 rackets and 2 hopper baskets for $155. And then it says the varsity coach got 12 rackets and 3 hopper baskets for $189. Now we want to solve this. We don't have X and Y. It's okay. We have R and H, R being rackets and H being the hopper baskets. So we have to think about how we want to solve this. So let's get rid of H. So I'm going to multiply the whole top equation by 3 and then a whole bottom equation by 2, but I have to make one of them negative. So I'll make the bottom one negative. I'm going to distribute over here. So I have 30R plus 6H equals 3 times 155, which is 465. Then I'm going to distribute on the bottom one, the negative 2 to everything. So negative 2 times 12 is negative 24R minus 6H because negative 2 times 3. And then negative 2 times 189 is negative 378. Go ahead and add these together. So 30R minus 24R is 6R. Those cancel. So I'm going to go 465 minus 378, which gives me 87. Divide both sides by 6. So each racket is going to cost $14.50. That's a really good deal. So then I'm going to take this $14.50 and I'll plug it into either the top one or the bottom one. I'm going to pick the top one, the top purple one. So that was an R here. I'm going to replace that with our $14.50. So put the $14.50 in there. So 10 times that is 145 plus 2H equals 155. Subtract 145 from both sides. So that gives you 10. Divide both sides by 2. So the hopper baskets, So the hopper baskets are $5 each, and the rackets are $14.50 each, which I don't know if you play tennis, but that is a really good deal on rackets. Problem number 3. This is a goofy question because it's, I don't know if you guys go to arcades any longer, but it's a place to play video games. So while desperate for a trip to the arcade, you search under the cushions of your sofa for any loose change. You found 20 coins, some being quarters and some being dimes. If you've made $3.80, how many of each coin are there? Okay, so we have quarters, we have dimes. So we know that a quarter is worth 25 cents and a dime is worth 10 cents. So we found 20 coins total, so our quarters and our dimes, and there's 20 of them. And then I know that a quarter is 25 cents and a dime is 10 cents, and that gives us $3.80. Well, the very first thing I would do on this problem is let's move the decimal 2 places on each of these. So my bottom equation is now going to be 25Q plus 10D equals 380. And then what I want to do with that is I want to take this top equation and I want to get rid of, let's get rid of dimes. So I'm going to multiply everything by -10. So -10 times Q is -10Q. And -10 times D is -10D. -10 times 200, or 20 is -200. When I add these together, I get 15Q. The dimes are gone. And then 380 minus 200 is 180. Divide both sides by 15. So I'm going to get 180 divided by 15. So that tells me we have 12 quarters. Okay, well, if I found 20 dimes total, or 20, my quarters and dimes give me that, I'm going to go 12 plus D equals 20. Oop, that should have been a D, not a 12 and a 12. Subtract 12 from both sides, so you have 8 dimes. Kind of a goofy problem to think about. Please ask me if you need any help. So I think for next time we have class, I would like you to try page 241 and 242. And I think problem number 1 and problem number 3. So just try 1 and 3. Problem number 1 reads this way. So you can go back to the video at right on your top of your homework at 23 minutes into the video. Problem number 1 says, at Chipotle, a group of girls spends $23.70 on 3 burritos and 4 tacos. A group of boys spends $81.08 on 9 burritos and 5 tacos. How much is a burrito? How much is a taco? So your variables will be burritos B, tacos T. And then figure out a system of equations and solve it. And then the very last question, letter D, says a family comes in to order 2 burritos and 7 tacos. How much will they pay? So just give it a try, see how you do. And then problem number 3 on the back side reads, a waitress has a total of 35 quarters and dimes in her pocket. If she has $6.50 in these quarters and dimes, how much of each coin does she have? So you're going to use Q for quarters, D for dimes. Remember, a quarter is 0.25 and a dime is 0.10. So figure out how many quarters and dimes she has, or figure out how many of each type she has. Have a nice day.